Alright guys, so today we're going to work on the old Thunder Bomber. We got, I'm going to swap some front springs around, and well, I'm going to change the left front spring and leave the right front spring the same, and we'll check my shocks on it. I actually need to call my buddy Tracy from work, and I need to ask him some questions about these Thunder Bomber shocks, because I don't really understand the rules. It says that you have to run the same part number, but I've also heard that you can run different valvings on the AK series shocks, so I'm not sure about that. I'm going to call him. He's been running Thunder Bomber for a few years, and hopefully he'll be able to clear that whole gray area up for me. And also, I'm going to set the front end up, set my rod heights, and get a game plan on moving some lead around. So we're going to see if we can make it to Lakeview Friday to practice this car. Next weekend, obviously on the 25th, we're going to be racing the stock V8, and then the following weekend, May 2nd, we've made plans to take this Thunder Bomber to Sumter for the first Monster Thunder Bomber Series race. And I got to go back and look at their schedule and see where everything falls out. And we might try to run all those races. I'm not too sure, but don't get on my tail too much about how ugly this car is. I'm not going to take the time. I really just don't have the time right now to put into putting a body on it, nor do I want to spend the money to put a body on it right now. So I'm going to leave this car like it is, and no, I'm not happy with it. But anyways, I'm going to leave the car like it is for right now, and we're going to go and race it. So this car is going to be raced, and you can kind of see that. It's been raced. This thing was actually completely wrapped when I got it, so I took all the wrap off of it, which was not fun. But, yeah, we're going to go race this car, and we're going to go have a ball. These cars right here are just so much fun to me, and there's a lot of these cars, a lot of races out there for these cars. So we're going to go see if we can go have a little bit of fun and run pretty good. So anyhow, I'm going to bring you all along with us. I know I had to change some control arms. Well, I stole a control arm off this car for the Lakeview car because I wanted a shorter one on it. And I actually wanted to put a longer left front control arm on the Thunder Bomber. And by their rules, you have to be within an inch on your control arm. So I'm going to have to do some figuring on how to get some camber in the right front on this thing. That way I can still keep all the camber in the left front. So it's going to be trial and error on it, but we're going to see if we can get it done. It sucks. It's like 95 degrees down here today, and I'm going to be out there in the heat. But it should be all right. Hopefully my rod heights from my Lakeview car will match up with that car. Same chassis, they're both metric chassis. That car is actually built quite a bit different. Like it's just narrower tubing and that kind of stuff. So it's like all 1.5 inches and the bay bars and all, where the Lakeview car is all 1.75 inches. So anyhow, both of these cars are a little bit older, but I think we'll still be able to make them be competitive. And we're going to, hopefully I'll be able to, put these things very identical as far as my springs and stuff. But I got to figure my shocks out first. So if you have to run a base valve shock per the Thunder Bomber rules, then I'm not sure what I'll have to do with springs. But if I can invest in a set of shocks that are not necessarily the base valving of a AK series 1043 shock or whatever it is, then we might be able to just mimic everything from our Lakeview car onto that one, and I feel like it should be pretty daggone good everywhere we go. I got a real good baseline in the Lakeview car right now, so gonna try and get that thing done. And I also have to change the upper ball joints on the Thunder Bomber because for some reason the wrong ball joints are in it, and I'm just going to fix it. So I don't want to get into too much details, but they're the wrong ball joints. The upper ball joints are completely wrong, and going to get them fixed. So that's the main project of the day, and getting the springs and the ride height set, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to sweat our tails off for a little bit, but we're going to bring y'all with us and hope y'all enjoy this video. Guys, so I started working on this Thunder Bomber, got my rear springs changed, did some digging, called a couple people, and found out more about the shock rule for Thunder Bomber, at least the Monster Thunder Bomber rules. I'm not sure because it seems like every track has a different rule package for the Thunder Bombers. But I'm going to try to stick to the Monster Thunder Bomber rules minus the engine rules, because I'm not going to go and change the intake or the heads or anything like that on this motor. I just don't think it's worth it for the money. So, ran into some problems. Somebody's gone and put Camaro spindles on this car. And the spindles have been reamed out for bigger ball joints. So, the issue I'm having is a stock Camaro or a stock metric upper ball joint doesn't fit the taper in the spindle. And when that happens, basically it bottoms that ball joint out on the ball joint cup. So you have no articulation of the ball joint within the cup. So long story short, called my buddy Scott Lewis that we raced with at Lakeview. I asked him if he knew of any bolt-in ball joints that would be the same pin size as a Chrysler. So somebody at some point had Chrysler ball joints, the K727s, Moog 727 ball joints, which are like the screw-in style, in these spindles. So when you do that, obviously you got to ream it, and I did a video on that years ago on my UMP Modified on the metric spindles, 3-piece stuff. So what I'm fighting right now is I'm going to have to find a set of spindles, because Camaro spindles actually aren't legal on a Thunder Bomber. And on top of that, the ears on the transmission have been broke off multiple times, and they've been welded back on at least 2 times, and they're cracked again, and I just so happily saw the crack while I was under the right front here. So I've got to address that too. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to make it to Sumter. That is my plan. But a lot of parts have to be ordered and paid for before I can get out there. So I'm call Rush Repair and see if they can get me like a spindle bearing seal rotor kit. Or I really don't. I have a set of spindles that I went and picked up from Scott Lewis's house, and 100% my problem. I felt like these were Camaro spindles because it has the big brakes on them, but I wanted to see if my hubs and bearings would work. And the hubs and bearings on a Camaro, it's not even that, it's the rotors on a Camaro are 1 inch bigger in diameter, so they're not going to work. So I'm going to have to round up some parts, order some parts most likely, hopefully get them in this week, and then I can finish getting this car done. Kind of sucks. This car was supposed to be 100% Thunder Bomber. However, they might not have known or something. So anyhow, I'm glad I'm going through it, because I mean, most time people just don't know, and we're gonna get this thing right. But anyhow, I'm gonna pick this video back up at a later date. Right now, I'm gonna go inside and see if I can find what parts I need and get in some AC, because this heat is killing me. anyhow, yeah. Guys, we are coming from you from a picking pool because unfortunately I can't find spindles for Monte Carlo on the old internet. So out here at Grand Strand Picking Pool, found this cutlass. I think it's a cutlass, but yeah, 84 cutlass. So I did some interchanging and stuff, and I forgot all about junkyards. So excuse me for that, but they got a 1984 cutlass out here. We're gonna get the front spindles off of, and we're gonna buy the whole things, and because I'm gonna need the hubs and all. And I'm also gonna look at some S10s, because if I can find better hubs on an S10, then obviously that's what I need to do. I'm gonna try to get the best parts I can for this whole girl, and pretty cheap too. So all my guys that race at Lakeview, y'all need some parts. There you go. But kicking it old school real quick, and actually having to go to the old junkyard, and we got Taylor. We got Tay-Tay out here in the junkyard. She's the wheelbarrow woman and the film girl today. Alright guys, so we made it back to the house. We got our spindles. One of them I had to pull with the whole setup, and I forgot my Allen wrenches, so ended up having to buy it as a complete spindle with the brake, hub, and all. I really just wanted the spindles, but I was able to get 2 spindles. I'm going to get them things cleaned up, pressure wash them up real nice, and stripped down. I'm going to have to buy hubs, calipers, and brake pads to complete everything. I'm just hoping that the lower ball joints on the race car haven't been reamed out like the uppers. So if they have, I can actually just ream these lower ball joints out, and or the lower spindle holes out and make them work, or I can just get some press-ins, but I'm going to do whichever one's going to make it easier on me. So right now I'm going to get to work, get this thing stripped down, get both of these stripped down. I did have to actually buy one with the wheel because the lug stud on the hub was spinning, so I couldn't get the daggone wheel off. Excuse me. Never seen a junkyard or pick and pull or whatever leave wheels and tires on cars, but it is what it is. We're gonna get this thing stripped down real quick, get that wheel off, and get us a parts list together, and hopefully we can get some parts from old Rush Repair out in Loris. So here we go. All right, guys, so this has turned into kind of a disaster. Not 100% sure what's going on in front of this car, but everything's out of whack and just has the wrong parts on it. Not only by the rules, but I don't know how they had this thing where it turned into a corner, but this thing had the wrong size ball joints in the uppers for the upper ball joints. So the ball joint cup was actually like pinched down on top of the spindle on the neck. So I don't know how it was steering. And then come to find out, the spindles were actually for a second gen Camaro, like a F body. And went to the junkyard today. Tay went with me. that was a sight to see. I never thought I would ever see her in a junkyard, but I went ahead and we actually found an 84 Cutlass in the junkyard. I was able to get the spindles off of it, so I've got a set of spindles now, but got to looking at it, and the right front control arm's bent like a mofo. So I'm gonna have to get a couple lower control arms. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace both of them. They're like 160 bucks, and that's with the good steel bushings for the All-Stars. I pulled the steering box off the car, and I'm gonna take the steering boxes with me to work because we have a pitman arm puller. The steering box that was on the car had the wrong the steering box I bought for the car, the 8-to-1 sweet box. Since I can't run a steering quickener in this car, I bought that 8-to-1 box. I actually got it from Michael Butler, and it had the wrong pitman arm on it for the rules for Thunder Bomber. I think he had it on a street stock or something. So I'm gonna pull those at work, get that ready so I can get it back together. Now I gotta track parts down. So I've got to somehow find a set of All-Star lowers with the steel bushings. I think I found them on Jegs. Not sure how quick they'll get here. The problem I have, and what stressed me out about this car, is as you can see, I'm an idiot, and the Lakeview car is sitting right here. This car's sitting in the way to get it out of the shop. I don't have a way to move it until I get these parts. But it's gonna make me get it done quicker, I reckon. But I got to get this car out of the way so I can get the Lakeview car out and we can go win a race this weekend. But anyhow, I got to sit here and look at it, tell you what I need to get. I got to get brake calipers, brake pads for the front, because the Camaros are bigger. I got to get a set of hubs, bearings, and seals for the spindles, because, again, they're different. I'm going to go ahead and drill the chassis out for 1/2-inch bolts, but 1/2-inch bolts in the lower control arms, and hopefully the new bushings for the lowers are already. This car had All-Star lowers on it with the steel bushings, and they were already 1/2-inch. I could fit a 1/2-inch bolt in them, so I'm gonna go ahead and run 1/2-inch bolts, since the factory bolts are like 13 millimeters, and they're just a little bit different. You can't quite get a 1/2-inch bolt in there, but the new lowers will have 1/2-inch slugs for the steel bushings. So I want them to have the right size bolt in them, so they're not sitting there and have any slop. So yeah, we got a ton of work to do on this thing. I wish I had all the parts. I wanted to get this car ready to go practice this weekend, or this coming Friday, but I wanted to get all the work done this weekend. That way I could be kind of not on wits end all week. But hopefully I can get all these parts in, get this thing back together, get it out of the way so I can hopefully go practice it. But not only go practice it, but I want to be able to go and get this Lakeview car out of the shop. I really wish I had a bigger shop, because this car, I would already had this done on this car. I just haven't had time, which I say I haven't had time, but I haven't had the time to have it in the shop to go through it like I needed to really get it where it needs to be to go race. And we're trying to race it in 2 weeks, I think, May 2nd. So it's at least I gave myself a little bit of time. I'm glad we had this weekend off from racing so I could get to work on this thing. And now we just got to do the daggone thing, and hopefully all this stuff will come in time to get back together. And I'd like to post the rest of this video on Friday. So anyhow, I want to say thank y'all for watching. Very interesting video, but thank you guys for watching. Make sure you drop down, leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully we'll have this thing out of the way so we can go race at Lakeview.